My name's Aaron. I'm a kinesiology major and a business minor. What got me into kinesiology was I was involved in sports in high school and stuff, and really liked working out, seeing how I could push my body to the limit and stuff. And then once I looked into Bob Jones' kinesiology program, I really liked it and thought that's something I could pursue in life. So, yeah.
My name is Morgan, and I am also in kinesiology, but I am in the sports medicine and rehabilitation track of that. So for me, that looks like planning to get a doctorate in physical therapy. And actually, I got into, kind of interested in physical therapy because I tore my ab at a church camp on a mechanical bull, of all things. And so long story short, I was an athlete. I played a bunch of soccer through it, and then I went to the doctors, got misdiagnosed, and so I went to PT, and my physical therapist is working with me and really realized that something wasn't right, so she sent me back. I went back for more testing, and I ended up being in physical therapy for several months, and through my own process of healing, and then through seeing other people, at the same clinic coming in and watching their whole healing process, I was just really inspired that that was something that I felt the Lord wanted me to do with my life. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm here. And I have a minor in biblical counseling as well, because it's a super important aspect in the physical therapy world, just to be able to talk to people and help with the mental aspect of all of that.
I would say mine is actually my professional fitness training practicum, where I basically get to train a staff member the whole semester, and that's the extent of the class, and that's been a lot of fun. Got to know my staff member very well, and I don't know, it's fun to train someone, kind of not have the pressure of a normal class, but still get counted as credits. So.
My favorite part of being in kinesiology is actually something that's not specifically built into my program, but I get to be a part of what's called the ESSA, which is our Exercise and Sports Science Association. I've got to serve on that officer crew for 2 semesters now, and through that, we've got to interact with tons of professionals in the community coming in and sharing what they do. So we just had a panel with a chiropractor, physical therapist, people who started their own practices, coaches, athletic directors. So that was really cool to get to interact with them. And then we've also just had opportunities to learn how to power lift, or just have fun events where we're doing different exercise challenges. So I think that's been something really fun that I wasn't expecting when I chose kinesiology as my major, but because of the aspect of what we're learning in our classes, I was able to get connected with the ESSA and then get to be a part of that. So that was really cool, and something that I've loved getting to be a part of.
I would say know why you want to do it. I think that could probably apply to any major, but if you really know why you want to go into health sciences, and that'll just give you drive throughout the whole process, get you through the hard classes.
Be passionate.
Yeah, be passionate about what you're doing, because a lot of people, if they find out it's not what they really want to do, they've just kind of wasted time on harder classes when they could have been pursuing something that they liked better. Or yeah, I think that's kind of it. But
I think for me, going into it, you need to have the mindset of knowing that you're going to have to work really hard. And a lot of the classes, especially with some school of health professions, some of your classes are more general type classes because you're building classes that you need for grad school. And so it may not be a class that necessarily is very specific to what you're going to do in the long run, but it's classes that you need to, get into med school or, PT school for me. And so knowing that there is a purpose to that, but knowing that you're going to have to work really hard, and you may not necessarily love that subject, but being able to understand why you're doing it and then learn whatever you can from it, I think is one of my biggest pieces of advice, is just soak it all in. Be as knowledgeable as you can in a wide range of topics. Because honestly, that's going to help you as a person, but also getting into grad school, they're looking at more than just your GPA. They're looking at you as a person. And so yeah, being able to do well in those classes is going to boost your GPA, but also being well-rounded, I think, is super important. So invest in all the classes, invest in those extracurriculars, all of those things I would say is super helpful to know coming into the program, because it's not till later, junior, senior year, that you're really getting into those major classes of what you're going to do for the rest of your life.
I would say probably for me, exercise physiology, where we kind of just went through a lot of the systems of the body that are involved with exercise, and how all of that works together and how that applies in our field with testing and doing different field tests. All of that kind of, I feel like that's something that I will use, and especially with like doing research or looking through research, a lot of that can sometimes be confusing, a lot of that. But once you kind of learn how to work through it, you know what you're doing, it makes you feel a lot more confident with this kind of stuff. So
I kind of have two answers to that question. So the first one is not necessarily like my major specific, but anatomy and physiology with Dr. Chetta, I feel like prepared me for just like the whole like healthcare system in general. I feel like it was really good to kind of just see a broad spectrum of everything, even though you're not going super in depth with any one topic, because as a healthcare professional, like it's good to know what's going on, even if I, as a physical therapist, am mostly going to be treating, muscles and bones, that kind of thing. I think it was important to know all those other factors of health that play part in that, and just signs to watch out for as a healthcare professional. But then also specifically to my major, I would say that structural kinesiology with Dr. Chen is like super helpful in the fact that you're really going through every single muscle group and figuring out like what exercises stretch them, how to strengthen them. We did tons of projects with going to the gym and showing the different steps of concentric action and then eccentric action of how the different muscles work. And so as a physical therapist, that's what I'm going to be using all of the time. And so just learning the names of things, learning the names of muscles, exercises, all of that, I think is super helpful for preparing me for PT school and then as a physical therapist.
I was going to emphasize that earlier, actually it came up in my mind, but like getting to know your professors and your advisor really well is a great opportunity for even your career afterwards, because you have these professional contacts that you wouldn't get anywhere else unless you're like work high level and meet these people. But I would say specifically my advisor, I meet with her a lot. One of my classes kind of makes that happen, but just meeting with her a lot, that's really given me like a lot of interesting experience, and like experience coming from her, more knowledge that I don't have, but like I can get from her and kind of look into. It kind of helps me be interested in what I'm learning too, when you have a passionate professor or advisor that just loves what they're doing and therefore helps you love what you're doing. So
my advisor is Dr. Chen, and I think it's been super helpful to have him as my advisor, because not only does he care about my academics and making sure I'm in the right classes or planning the best I can for grad school, which is great, but he also invested in me as a person. And you could say that about any of our faculty. That has been something that even before I came here as a student, I noticed how much the faculty just poured into the students and really wanted to care about them as a person and their heart, and not just give them an fantastic education, which is amazing. They have such good experience, they're very good at teaching what they do, but then also just taking time to pray with me, or literally to pull me aside after class and say hey, I just noticed something was off, are you doing okay? Is there something I can help you with? And I know that they don't just mean getting my grade up, or they know me at a personal level, so they can tell when things are up. They can be excited with me when exciting things happen, but also, be there right alongside when, you come to their office and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
so
right.
I think that's been super helpful. And then also just, I don't think I would have, on my own, even with my own research, known certain things that would be super helpful for grad school. So my advisor is telling me, you could do 40 hours, which is what's required of your internship for, applying to this place. But if you get this many hours before you apply, that's actually going to look a lot better on your resume. Or I would recommend taking this class because most schools are going to accept this, and it might be an easier class. Or different just helpful hints that I definitely would not have known about, and also timing of when to look up grad schools and what to be looking for, because all of that was totally just not even in my brain of what to do. but like saying, okay, over Christmas break, you need to look up like all the grad schools that you're interested in, their pricing, you know, what they require. Make sure you're going to meet all the requirements in the right amount of time. And even stuff like I switched around my whole class schedule so that my first 3 years of college were mainly my major classes, and then my last year I'm taking some gen ed so that I can go straight into grad school if I get accepted the way that applications work. So I think that was like a super helpful tip that I definitely wouldn't have gotten on my own, and I'm really glad that my advisor was there to help me with that.